An immense pleasure. I take the privilege to extend my warm welcome to all presented here at the logo unveiling and media briefing program of the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020. I humbly welcome the chief guest of today's occasion, His Excellency Muhammad Zahid Ahsan Russel, MP, State Minister, Ministry of Youth and Sports. Today's guest of honor, His Excellency, Mr. Taha Ayhan, President of the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, ICYF. Special guest, Mr. Masud Bin Momen, Foreign Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the chair of today's event, Mr. Muhammad Akhter Hossain, Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports, on this auspicious occasion. Also present with us is Mr. Akhter Hossain Khan Kabir, sir, Director General, Department of Youth Development, and His Excellency, Honorable Ambassador of Brazil. First, I would like to remember and pay tribute to the greatest Bengali of all time, the lifelong advocate of peace and harmony, the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Esteemed guests, we all know our Honorable Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, has dedicated her life for the people and humanity. Since her early childhood, she has engaged herself for the welfare of the mankind. In the ongoing pandemic, COVID-19, her visionary leadership and the strong decision-making capability has kept the situation under control in Bangladesh. The mother of humanity, our Honorable Prime Minister, has led a great management both in the healthcare and economic perspective in this crisis. And she has done a very praising leadership role and has been praised worldwide. Youth has been the core of our strength as a nation. Youth has shown spirit and selflessness in 1952, 1968, 1971, and many other times. Now when the COVID-19 crisis came, youth has shown what was necessary and has also proved to be our real hero. Ministry of Youth and Sports has noticed this contribution of the spirited youths and has also taken an initiative to recognize the contribution of the youth. And this year, while we are celebrating one of the biggest youth celebration of the world, Dhaka OIC Youth Capital 2020, the award will be given on the special contributions during the pandemic. That's why, to recognize the youth who inherits the spirit and follows the footsteps of our Honorable Prime Minister, the Ministry of Youth and Sports is introducing this award. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to start this program with the Holy Quran recitation, and I would like to request Hafiz Qari Maulana Rabiul Islam to recite the verses of the Holy Quran to begin today's occasion.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أولئك هم خير البرية جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه ذلك لمن خشي ربه Sadaqallahul Azim. Translation. Indeed, they who have believed and done righteous deeds, those are the best of creatures. Their reward with their Lord will be gardens of perpetual residence, beneath which rivers flow, wherein they will abide forever. Allah being pleased with them and they with him. That is for whoever has feared his Lord. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I humbly request the chair of today's event, Mr. Muhammad Akhter Hossain, Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports, to deliver his welcome speech to the guests, participants, and viewers of today's occasion.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Honorable Chief Guest of Logo Unveiling and Media Briefing Program, His Excellency, Mr. Muhammad Zahid Ahsan Russel MP, State Minister, Ministry of Youth and Sports, Bangladesh. Guest of Honor, His Excellency Taha Ayhan, President of the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, who is connected virtually with us. Special guest, Mr. Masud Bin Momen, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh. Distinguished guests, His Excellency Ambassador of Japan, Brazil, youth delegates, journalists of print and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone who are watching us on live platforms. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. I welcome you all to today's Logo Unveiling and Media Briefing event of Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020, organized by the Ministry of Youth and Sports in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Social Welfare. First of all, I would like to pay my deepest gratitude and homage to the greatest Bengali of all times, our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the icon of youth, under whose undisputed visionary leadership we got our coveted independence. I express my utmost gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, for declaring the inauguration of the Dhaka ICYF Capital 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware that the world's largest Muslim platform organization of Islamic cooperation embodies the aspiration of more than 1.8 billion people, including nearly one-third youths. The Istanbul-based Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, an entity affiliated to the OIC, makes one city from one of its member states every year. In continuation to that tradition, Dhaka was announced as the OIC Youth Capital 2020 on 25th December 2019. The convergence of the occasion coinciding with the grand celebration of the birth centenary of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, has amplified its significance to a great extent. The inauguration ceremony of the Dhaka OIC Youth Capital 2020 was expected to take place on 12th April earlier this year, but we were forced to keep it on hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Later, the event was remoduled, and for the first time in our country's history, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, in close partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, organized the inauguration ceremony, followed by Resilient Youth Leadership Summit and Boot Camp virtually on 27th, 28th, and 29th July, where 1,242 participants and representatives from 75 countries took part in different day-long sessions and activities with expert panelists. The year-long events of Dhaka YC Youth Capital 2020 was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister of the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. Besides the grand opening and closing ceremonies, 10 elaborate mega events have been designed to celebrate Dhaka YC Youth Capital 2020, which will be implemented through 8 lead ministries and 20 co-lead ministries of Bangladesh around the year. Distinguished guests, like most countries of the world, Bangladesh has also been massively affected in social, economic, and humanitarian sectors due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. The youth have come forward in this crisis situation, like always, by providing medical and burial support to the COVID-affected patients, providing daily necessities to the people who lost their work, etc. The youths from all over the country have been providing emergency medical support to the COVID-affected and regular patients, burying dead bodies, delivering essential goods to households, feeding the poor and stray animals, raising awareness among the mass people, distributing free hand sanitizer, masks, PPE, and doing many other humanitarian activities. Those enthusiastic youth souls who have spread their hands and performed these activities are our pride. And so the Ministry of Youth and Sports has taken the initiative to properly recognize and reward them. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to mention here the campaign of Bangabandhu Global Youth Leadership Award, which is one of the mega events of Dhaka YC Youth Capital 2020, has already been commenced by the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on 27 July. Bangladesh has successfully managed to keep the COVID-19 pandemic crisis situation in control under the prudent and visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Our Honorable Prime Minister has been widely acclaimed for her successful role in facing the COVID-19 situation as well as other natural calamities such as cyclone, tidal wave, flood, etc. So the name Sheikh Hasina, our Honorable Prime Minister and the daughter of the Bangabandhu, shines bright like a star and makes her a role model globally to fight against any natural calamity. To encourage the youths of Bangladesh in facing crisis situations, the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020 response to COVID-19 will be given under the virtual Global Volunteer Forum event of the Dhaka YC Youth Capital 2020. The award will be given in 2 categories, that is national and international. And from 2021, the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award will be given nationally every year to promote volunteerism among the youths and encourage them to get involved in more humanitarian activities. Registration of this award will be start from 1st November 2020 and end on 31st December. I would like to request all to cooperate us to make the award giving event a successful one. I hope that with your support, we could make it an exemplary event. I would like to express my hope and confidence towards the youth representatives of the OIC member states and rest of the world. I hope that they will certainly make this world a better place than what it is now. Let me appreciate to all of you for responding our call on appearing in COVID-19 situation. We hope YC Youth Capital 2020 will be a very successful event with all of your support and cooperation. I would like to convey my gratitude to today's chief guest, His Excellency Mr. Zahid Ahsan Russel MP, State Minister, Ministry of Youth and Sports of Bangladesh, for his kind presence. I would also like to give thanks to our special guest, Mr. Masud Bin Momen, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh, guest of honor, His Excellency Taha Ayhan, President of ICYF and his team, and His Excellency, Ambassador of Brazil, and to all who are with us today. Let me take the opportunity to invite you to attend all the programs to celebrate the birth centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and rest of the programs of OIC Youth Capital 2020. The power of youth is the common strength for the whole world. The faces of young people are the faces of present and our future. No segment in the society can match with the power, idealism, enthusiasm, and courage of the people. So let us get on board to define a better tomorrow together. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your warm welcome speech. Definitely it will inspire the youth community to be whole together for a better future. It is now my pleasure to call upon the special guest of today's event, Mr. Masud Bin Momen, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to deliver his speech.
His Excellency Mr. Zahid Ahsan Russel, MP, and Honorable State Minister for Youth and Sports, Mr. Akhter Hossain, my dear colleague, Secretary for the Ministry of Youth and Sports, who just made a very substantive welcome remarks. His Excellency Mr. Taha Ayhan, today's special guest and also the President of ICYF, and our dear friend, the Ambassador of Brazil to Bangladesh. Good afternoon to you all. Assalamu alaikum. It is a privilege and an honor to welcome more than 1,200 youth and officials from more than 75 countries for the launching ceremony or the logo unveiling for the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020. Honorable Minister, the youth embody not only the dreams of today, but also the aspirations of tomorrow. It is indeed a rare occasion, and may I say a happy one, when we start recognizing at an institutional level the feats of exemplary leadership displayed by the youth volunteers as the world keeps growing with each of them. While the youth make up more than 60% of the Muslim Ummah and more than 50% of the world as a whole, their voice usually remains the least heard. I'm happy that such courageous steps like this award are being taken to correct that situation. I'm happier still that it is given in the name of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who herself embodied the vigor of a youthful soul and the rigor of wisdom in statecraft, lifting Bangladesh out of a vicious circle of endemic poverty in only 2 tenures of her work as Prime Minister. We can all take pride in Dhaka being chosen as the OIC Youth Capital 2020, which overlaps with 2 of the greatest celebrations of our times, the birth centenary of the father of our nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, in 2020, and the golden jubilee of our glorious independence in 2021, and in between also coincides with one of the greatest challenges of our time that mankind had ever faced, the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bengali civilization has been a melting pot of hidden heritages based on the principles of humanity, human values, and the timeless truth and philosophies, coupled with the sensibilities of a syncretic set of Islamic cultural tenet, morals, and spiritual underpinnings. Bangladesh has always reflected these values in her engagement in the OIC and in other international fora. As for the Dhaka Youth Capital and the launching of the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020, I believe It is a testimony to our recognition of a vital fact that we are at the crossroad of a unique synergy between Bangladesh and the Islamic Ummah when we juxtapose the possibilities that the Ummah can jointly pursue and in all possible likelihood attain. Ladies and gentlemen, the ICYF, Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, and the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation embodies the aspirations of more than 1.5 billion people around the world. Bangladesh looks at the OIC not only as an image and a voice reflection for the global Muslim Ummah, but indeed as an organization representing a vast array of humanity and the human identity itself. The COVID-19 pandemic has been one of the enormous pain and darkness, but there is also a silver lining to the darkness, and that silver lining is embodied by the youth in their imagination and in their innovative efforts. We see the possibility of connecting and leveraging our developmental priorities across the Ummah, with all of you across 5 key vertices. That is, 1, we need systems with flexible and adaptable design. 2, we need infrastructure which are both available and affordable and can host multi-level networks. 3, we need capabilities which can both create and sustain superior technological efficiency. 4, we need rules of procedure which help create enabling regulations and non-constricting enforcement mechanisms. And last but not the least, we need unwavering intent as in commitment from the highest policy-making authorities to conform to the continuation of this ICT-centric evolution. And all of these combined call for exemplary leadership. I believe that with the creative energies that we harbor as nations, if we could connect our mainframe administrative and productive platforms to a certain measure of design innovation, both Bangladesh and the Ummah will pass through the eye of the needle successfully. The challenges of this century and beyond can and will be overcome with knowledge and wisdom, both in skills and in imagination, to cope with the changing frontiers of technology and political economy. And we ought to undertake this journey together, not alone. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, may Bangladesh live forever.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring speech. Dear guests, now with much honor, I would like to call our guest of honor, Mr. Taha Ayhan, President of Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, ICYF, who has joined with us virtually today.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Excellencies, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister of State, Mr. Ahter Hossain Bey, His Excellency Mr. Masud Bin Momen Bey, Honorable Secretary of Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Akhter Hossain Bey, Honorable Secretary of Minister of Youth and Sports. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm most pleased and honored to greeting you all on this special occasion with this video. Unfortunately, I wish to be there among my young brothers and sisters in Dhaka, Bangladesh, the city I love to be there. But due to the coronavirus, we cannot be there, but our prayers and our emotions are with you. And all the participants and inviters who have come together on the occasion of volunteering awards on the Dhaka OIC Capital 2020, welcome to our event, and thank you very much for participating in this very enormous occasion. As ICYF, we are tremendously glad that Dhaka was selected as the 6th OIC capital on December 2019. Dhaka OIC Capital 2020 was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, In a virtual inauguration declaration ceremony on the 27th July 2020, the inauguration program was attended with other honorable ministers, global leaders, dignitaries, and millions of youth virtually. Hundreds of Muslim youth came together to share their vision, experiences, and this amazing opportunity can be happened with their participation. And taking this opportunity, once again, I would like to express my gratitude to Her Excellency Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, for her strong support, and to the government of the Republic of Bangladesh for their hospitality to youth and giving importance and priority to the issues of youth. And we can see that they're supporting the youth in all around the world and among the 56 member countries of the OIC. As we all are aware that Bangladesh has become one of the world's most remarkable success stories in recent years. ICYF Selection Committee selected Dhaka as the youth capital for 2020 to study common challenges of youth in Asia with the margin of high number of youth population by empowering youth in economy and building their capacities in diverse fields. With the power of the youth, Bangladesh has already materialized the vision of 2021 to transform it into a digital Bangladesh, and the decision of organizing the whole Dhaka OIC 2020 program is a testament to the technologically empowered advanced Bangladesh. Today, you gathered here to introduce the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020 under the Virtual Global Volunteer Forum program, which is one of the huge events of Dhaka OIC Youth Capital. Virtual Global Volunteer Forum is a global network of organizations and individuals which works for international volunteering, promotes the importance of volunteering for development through sharing and mutual learning. It's gratifying that young people are willing to volunteer with enthusiasm, energy, and excitement. We should be proud of all those youth who have been the first responders to the crisis situation in almost everywhere of the world, who were working for the betterment of the people in need, especially during COVID-19 crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear sisters and brothers, I would like to congratulate all these young brothers and sisters for their contribution to the volunteerism. And I wish by declaring Dhaka as the OIC Youth Capital, we can take the attention of the whole world to the situation of youth and the necessity of empowerment of youth in from several respects, as economical empowerment, as social empowerment, as political empowerment. And I wish such an occasion will be useful to raise the status of youth all among the 56 countries. And I also would like to congratulate all those who will get award through to different categories of this forum. On behalf of ICYF, let me say that we will continue to support our youth in all OIC member states in their goodwill projects in the field of youth policy and developments are always do. And we can only support our youth and we can only raise their profile by the support and the enormous efforts of the member states. So again, I want to express my deep thanks to the government of Bangladesh and Her Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for their support and trust to youth and to ICYF. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may keep you, your families, your loved ones safe and healthy in such unprecedented and difficult times. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ma'assalam.
Thank you, Mr. Taha Ayhan, for your encouraging speech towards the youth and this platform. Now I would humbly request our chief guest, His Excellency Muhammad Zahid Ahsan Russel, MP, State Minister, Ministry of Youth and Sports of the Government of People's Republic of Bangladesh, to deliver his valuable speech and give us a brief about the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Before we get started, I would like to convey my gratitude towards today's guest of honor, His Excellency Taha Ayhan, President of the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, ICYF. Special guest, Mr. Masud Bin Momen, Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The chair of today's events, Mr. Akhter Hossain, Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports. His Excellency Joao Tabajara de Oliveira Jr., Ambassador of Brazil, journalists from print and electronic media, and all who have joined us online. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning, I humbly remember of the greatest Bengali of all time, the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, whose prudent and visionary leadership enabled us to emerge on the world map today as an independent and sovereign country. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister of the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, the Mother of Humanity, Sheikh Hasina, who in her strong hands is leading Bangladesh towards becoming a developed country and a global Bengal. Distinguished guests, you must be aware that the Bangladesh Awami League President, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the eldest daughter of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was facing death again and again in a struggle life to imprisonment, losing her parents, going through all sorts of ups and downs in life. Sheikh Hasina, once a student leader, has now become the Prime Minister for a record 4 times. Dear guests, if we look at the rich history of Bangladesh, we see that the youth community has made glorious contribution in every movement. Every achievement in our nation's history, every movement, including the language movement of 1952, the March uprising in 1969, the Great Liberation War of 1971, and the anti-dictatorship movement of 1990 contains history of their great sacrifices. Honorable guest, Honorable Prime Minister Deshratna Sheikh Hasina is the creator of the history of the new age of Bangladesh. She is a lighthouse of irresistible strength and inspiration in the eyes of youth. To the youth, she is a symbol of struggle. She has become the lighthouse for the youth through the idea of implementation of digital Bangladesh. The youth of our country now have the opportunity to make themselves more efficient by getting easy access to high-speed internet. Many young people are becoming the top entrepreneur of the country. Instead of looking for jobs, they are now providing employment opportunities to many unemployed youth. Instead of the unequal education policy, the activity of handing over the few new books to all the students in the primary level on the first day of every year is going on. Ladies and gentlemen, as per IMF forecast, Bangladesh per capita GDP would rise to $1,887.97 at current prices at the end of this year, up 3.96% from $1,816.4 in 2019. This is one of the best performances in the region. The country per capita GDP growth would be the 6th highest in the world in the current calendar year. As the pandemic has bettered most economics in the world in the 8th month, all these are possible because of dynamic leadership and intellectual economic activities of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Since this award program will take place in national stage first, I would like to convey a few words in Bangla to the Bangladeshi youth. উপস্থিত বিশিষ্ট অতিথিবৃন্দ, আপনারা জানেন যে 2020 সালটি আমাদের জন্য বিশেষ গুরুত্বপূর্ণ, কারণ এই বছর আমরা আমাদের জাতির পিতা সর্বকালের সর্বশ্রেষ্ঠ বাঙালি বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমানের জন্ম শতবার্ষিকী উদযাপন করছি এবং এই বিশেষ উপলক্ষকে স্মরণীয় করে রাখতে 2020 সালের 17 মার্চ থেকে 2021 সালের 26শে মার্চ পর্যন্ত সময়কালকে মুজিব বর্ষ হিসাবে ঘোষণা করা হয়েছে। যে কোনো আন্দোলনে বঙ্গবন্ধু যে অসীম সাহস প্রদর্শন করেছেন তা জীবনের প্রতিটি ক্ষেত্রে আমাদের জন্য আজও অনুপ্রেরণা হিসাবে কাজ করে। কিন্তু দুর্ভাগ্যের বিষয় হচ্ছে এই বছরটিতে আমাদের এমন একটি সময় পার করতে হচ্ছে যখন বিশ্ব একটি কমন শত্রুর বিপক্ষে লড়াই করছে, যেটি হচ্ছে কোভিড-19 মহামারী। তবে এই ধরনের চ্যালেঞ্জিং সময় আমাদের শক্তিশালী পদক্ষেপ নিতে শেখায়। মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী শেখ হাসিনা বিচক্ষণ ও দৃঢ় নেতৃত্বে বাংলাদেশ বৈশ্বিক মহামারী কোভিড-19 সংকট থেকে সফলভাবে উত্তরণ করতে পেরেছে, যা আমাদের মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রীকে বিশ্বব্যাপী একটা আদর্শ প্রতীকী হিসাবে প্রতিষ্ঠিত করেছে। চলমান সংকট মোকাবেলায় তিনি দিনরাত নিরলসভাবে কাজ করে যাচ্ছেন। ফেব্রুয়ারিতে শুরুতেই চীনে আটকে পড়া বাংলাদেশিদেরকে দেশে ফিরিয়ে আনার পদক্ষেপ গ্রহণ করেন। মার্চের শুরুতে প্রথম সংক্রমণের বিষয়টি নিশ্চিত হওয়ার পরপরই মুজিব জন্মশতবার্ষিকীর মূল উদ্বোধনী অনুষ্ঠান স্থগিত করেন, সকল শিক্ষা প্রতিষ্ঠান বন্ধ ঘোষণা করেন এবং কম গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ব্যবসা প্রতিষ্ঠানগুলোকে অনলাইনে কার্যক্রম পরিচালনার নির্দেশ দেন। তিনি দেশের সকল আন্তর্জাতিক বিমানবন্দরে করোনা রোগী শনাক্ত করতে সেখানে বিভিন্ন ধরনের কার্যক্রম নেওয়ার নির্দেশ প্রদান করেন। করোনা সংক্রমণের প্রথম দিন থেকেই তিনি শক্ত হাতে দৈনিক 18-20 ঘন্টা নির্ঘুম অক্লান্ত পরিশ্রম করে করোনার লাগাম টেনে ধরার কারণেই করোনার সংক্রমণ জ্যামিতিক হারে বাড়তে পারেনি। দেশি বিদেশি সংবাদ মাধ্যম সহ বিভিন্ন তথ্য উপাত্তে প্রকাশিত হয়েছে, বর্তমান বৈশ্বিক মহামারীতে পৃথিবী আর কোনো রাষ্ট্রনেতাকে এভাবে জনগণের কথা বলতে ও শক্তি ও সাহস যোগাতে দেখা যায়নি। মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী, আপনার এই কর্মকাণ্ডের জন্য আমরা আপনার প্রতি চিরকৃতজ্ঞ, আপনার প্রতি আন্তরিক ধন্যবাদ এবং অভিনন্দন জ্ঞাপন করছি এবং আল্লাহ রাব্বুল আলামিনের কাছে আপনার সুস্বাস্থ্যতা এবং দীর্ঘায়ু কামনা করছি। Distinguished guest, our Honorable Prime Minister emphasized that nobody in Bangladesh should remain unemployed in this Mujib year, holding that dream in heart as a major concerned authority for youth affairs and youth-related issues. Ministry of Youth and Sports of Bangladesh has taken some initiatives to celebrate the grand occasion as well as to combat the crisis situation created by COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Youth and Sports of Bangladesh has also taken many initiatives to engage the youth in global action from home and abroad. We are hosting the YC Youth Capital 2020 this year, under which 10 major international events have been planned to organize throughout the year. As you already know, the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, ICYF, affiliated to the YC, declares the one city from the YC member states as the YC Youth Capital every year. In continuation to that, practice Dhaka has been declared as the YC Youth Capital this year in recognition to the contribution of the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and her spirit government in the youth sector. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, in close association with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, held the inauguration ceremony of the Dhaka YC Youth Capital 2020 in July this year in a virtual manner for the first time in Bangladesh history, where the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina declared the inauguration of year-long events of Dhaka YC Youth Capital 2020. Dear guests, in this crisis situation caused by COVID-19 pandemic, young people from everywhere around the world have proven that they can deal with any adverse situation and lead from the front. The youth of Bangladesh have also shown their indomitable speed and have engaged themselves in various humanitarian and social welfare activities as volunteers during this time. From providing food and relief, they have facilitated emergency medical support as well as buried the dead bodies of the COVID-19 affected patients when nobody else dared to. They have helped the health caregivers with free transportation and ride during the lockdown situation, showed great care to the stray animals, provided food for their duty heroes, and so on. The Ministry of Youth and Sports of the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh wants to recognize the indomitable spirit shown by the young volunteers across the globe in response to the COVID-19 pandemic by introducing Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020 under the virtual Global Volunteer Forum program, which is one of the mega events of the Dhaka YC Youth Capital 2020. Awards will be given on 10 different categories. Top 100 will get awards, and all registered participants will get a certificate of appreciation. The categories of Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020 are: number 1, most inspiring volunteer story; number 2, most impactful initiative; number 3, best innovative idea; number 4, corporate support in volunteer youth activities; number 5, most impactful media personnel; number 6, community leadership and service; number 7, environmental response; number 8, act of bravery; number 9, service excellence; and 10, outstanding youth volunteer organizations. Those who are interested will be able to register for the competition and find out more about the competition by visiting the Youth Powerhouse Bangladesh website. The registration will start from 1st November 2020 and continue till December. In addition to the awards and certificates, the winners from the national stage will get the opportunity to participate in the international stage of Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020. Distinguished guests, although young people are always involved in various humanitarian activities, their contribution is often overlooked. Therefore, we think that the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award is a timely initiative that will properly recognize the activities of the youth and encourage them to participate more in such activities in the future. Therefore, the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award, which is being held for the first time this year, will be given every year by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Honorable guests, I thank everyone with us today once again. And now I am unveiling the official logo of the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020 and concluding my speech by calling for the spontaneous participation and cooperation from all to make this competition a grand success. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, may Bangladesh live forever. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Honorable State Minister, sir, for unveiling the logo of Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020. I would now like to request Honorable State Minister, sir, Muhammad Zahid Ahsan Russel, MP, to come on stage along with our special guest, Mr. Masud Bin Momen, Foreign Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the chair of today's event, Mr. Muhammad Akhter Hossain, Secretary, Minister of Youth and Sports, to join us on stage. Also, I would like to request His Excellency, Brazilian Ambassador to Bangladesh, to join us on stage for formal photo session of the logo. I would also like to request Mr. Akhter Hossain Khan, sir, Director General, Department of Youth Development, to also join to the photo session.
Thank you so much, sir. এখন promo দিব? Ladies and gentlemen, kindly be seated as the program still continues. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will watch a promo video of the Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020.
উদয়ের পথে শুনি কার বাণী ভয় নাই ওরে ভয় নাই নিঃশেষে প্রাণ যে করিবে দান হয় নাই তার ক্ষয় নাই
Heroes are they who stand fearless in the face of crisis. When the world is devastated by the horror of unstoppable COVID-19, some stepped ahead to keep the hope up. They are the heroes of the hour. The greatest Bengali of all time, the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, said, "We need golden people to build golden Bengal," and signified that a golden-hearted generation is needed to build a better world. By inheriting his indomitable spirit, with the inspiration and direction from the uncompromising leader, the lifelong activist of humanity, the herald of progress, the proclaimed leader in fighting the pandemic, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the youth of Bangladesh who came forward in every crisis and defeated every catastrophe, has stepped in again to fight the pandemic from the front line. In the name of the Mother of Humanity, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, to appreciate the initiatives of the youth and to enthuse the youth to take lead for humanity, Ministry of Youth and Sports brings Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020. Response to COVID-19. Submit your volunteer activities and innovation for humanity in fighting the menace of coronavirus in these categories. Most inspiring volunteer story, most impactful initiative, best innovative idea, corporate support in voluntary youth activities, most impactful media personnel, community leadership and service, environmental response, act of bravery, service excellence, outstanding youth voluntary organization. Registration starts on November the 1st, 2020. The winners from the national stage will compete in the international stage of Sheikh Hasina Youth Volunteer Award 2020. The spirited youth, prepare yourself to uphold the nation by embracing the spirit of humanity.
Dear guests, our program is near to the end. The registration procedure for the award will start from November 1st, 2020 and will continue till November 30th. We hope that today we will be beginning a great future by appreciating the youth for their selflessness, act of kindness, and contribution towards humanity. And wish that the inspiration of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, this will be a great inspiration for the youth to step forward for others, for the nation, and the world. Thank you all. Registration booth e amader kichu refreshment ache for the guests.
আমরা আমাদের